Hi, everybody. Casey Zander here. And in this video, what I wanted to do is I wanted to interview my brother, Cole. A lot of you have actually asked about Cole, and a lot of you have seen and spoke to Cole because I was plug Cole in damn near every video. So Cole might even start his own channel coming up here. And Cole's been a huge help to myself and the Headman team. So I just wanted to introduce him. You guys can meet him, and we're going to have one hell of an interview, and we're going to talk about a lot of things like masculinity, building a 7-figure plus business from the ground up, exactly why men fail and or succeed with women, and ultimately the direction we're trying to go, and answer some of your guys' questions as well that I'm sure that you'll have in the comment section if you would like to see us continue to do these. So Cole, thanks for waking up today to do this.
You're welcome.
So
I try.
So give them a little rundown about yourself. Like, how old are you? How long you worked for me for? All that good jazz.
So I'm Cole. Like you said, some of you guys have met me before. I'm 20. People tend to think that I'm the better looking brother, but that's up for debate, I guess. And I've been working for Casey for going on 1.5 years now.
How do you like working for me? Has it been good?
No, you're an awful boss. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I really enjoy it. I love my work. I like getting to talk to a lot of different guys, and ultimately it's been something I've really enjoyed.
So a question I had laid out just to kickstart this podcast or this episode is, in your own words, what's it like actually working with me, or what's it like being with me? Because a lot of these guys, I've had guys even comment, they say, I just want to know what it's like to have an inside look at your brain. And I'm like, I don't even know what the hell that means. But okay, if you could give them a rundown, since you grew up with me and we're brothers, give them a lowdown of what you've experienced over the years.
How honest would you like me to be here?
Honest as fuck.
Truthfully, I really like working for Casey. I think he's a good boss overall.
Not just that though, like what's it like being with me? Like,
No,
I mean, we hang out almost every day.
I'm getting there.
Yeah,
Getting there.
You get there.
Casey is a bit of a scatterbrain.
Oh,
Like he really is. You told me you want honest. He's
yeah,
a bit of a
honest.
scatterbrain, and that doesn't really show up a lot of times in his videos and the way he speaks and stuff, but he is a scatterbrain. And he's been like that his whole life. But overall, I've really liked working for him. I think he is a good boss, and growing up, we've always been really close. We've been in touch together like our entire life, and
I think
really
we've had a big journey together. Like, we both got fit, we both got into fitness, we both started being devilishly handsome and absolutely savages with women. We both started putting the nose to the grindstone to become full stack. Like, we're both self-made, if you will. Like, I think that go, I mean, when you say scatterbrain, what do you mean by that specifically? I'm curious.
Well, you got 10 different thoughts going in your head at once. Sometimes it's hard for you to focus it on one. Sometimes one specific thought will cause your mind to run crazy for a little while before you come back down to earth.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. What's a common theme that you see with all of the men that you speak to? For those of you that don't know, Cole is the head of my sales team and runs my sales department, and he's been with me for years now. So because of that, what's a common theme that you see with all these guys who come into the Headman Nation kind of community and products and lifestyle?
Well, they all have issues with women in one way or another. I mean, that's kind of the overarching thing.
Why do they have issues with women?
A lot of them have social anxiety. A lot of these guys, they struggle not only talking with women, but talking to people in general. They're just not people persons. So they really struggle with social anxiety. They maybe don't have a lot of friends. They maybe have never been laid before. They struggle to approach. They struggle with all these different things, and along with that, a lot of the times, a lot of them are also struggling with their fitness. They're struggling with their wealth. They kind of don't have a path or a vision. You know, they're working their job, doing whatever it is that they're doing to make ends meet, and they don't have like a clear-cut path that they're trying to work towards.
So what I hear is a lot of struggling. Why are they struggling so much? Why don't they have it together?
I think it's because of what they've been taught. It's been their upbringing, it's been outside influence that have taught them to be people pleasers,
Mm,
taught them to be taught them all the wrong things essentially.
I see.
Would you like me to go more in depth?
I suppose you could.
Well, between Hollywood showing this fantasy version of what love is supposed to look like, and the media pushing the pedestalization of women and empowering women, it's kind of put men on the back burner, and it's caused men to lose their way. And now you have a whole generation or two of men who ultimately don't have that path.
Now, let me ask you this. With that said, not to cut you off, but with that said, you've enrolled hundreds of guys over the years into MBT. And right now, as we all know, I'm the master plug giver. And since my Black Friday sale is counting down and we only have about 48 to 72 hours left, in your best words, from the transformations you've seen, maybe it's from guys like Nick, you know, maybe other guys that you've enrolled, in your own words, out of the transformations you've seen from this, why is it a man's best interest to enroll into this at the best time right now? Yeah, think
I
hard.
think a lot of men want to change and they don't know how.
Mm,
There are a lot of men who have like a deep burning desire. It sits in their chest, it sits in their stomach, and they're angry every day.
mm-hmm,
And they have no idea how because they don't have that path.
mm-hmm.
There's so many men who they struggle to get their fitness on point. They can't even speak to a woman
Mm-hmm.
without absolutely losing their shit. They've never had a girlfriend, they've never been laid before. It's in their best interest because they'd almost be doing not even just themselves, but the world a disservice by not making themselves the best version of themselves that they can.
I see. And you wholeheartedly believe that.
I do.
With that said, anybody can go scoop that right now in the bio. So next question I have for you that I wrote down because I came prepared. We're not shooting from the hip here. Next question I have, what type of man, in your words, do women actually like? Notice I say in your words. These guys are used to hearing me, but in your words, after working with me and seeing these guys, in your words, what type of man does a woman like?
They like a leader. They like a man who is charismatic, who gives off a certain vibe about himself that just it's something that certain men radiate from themselves. It's almost hard to explain. It's like a certain radiation of confidence and complete complete control in themselves.
The word I like to use is conviction. See, here's the thing, like one of the things I've noticed with business or with women or with anything is that it doesn't necessarily matter the income level you're at. It matters how convicted you are at what you're doing. So what I notice is that if you make 250 grand a month, like I'll give you an example. Over times, as my life has gotten more chaotic, I've gotten lazier in certain departments by accident. So when I was grinding from the ground up and I had absolutely nothing, there was times where I could sense I was probably a better, more convicted leader while only making 10K a month compared to I actually feel like I might have been a worse leader in certain areas, even after making 50 to 100K months. So because of that, it's like, it doesn't necessarily, what I think guys have to remember is, and you can agree or disagree to this, but it doesn't necessarily matter what the results are. Good, you need results, and women like to see results, but the confidence and the control and the leadership is more of like an internal radiation that women and anybody can sense, that you are confident and you are convicted at what you're doing, regardless of what the circumstances are and regardless of what the current results show that you do have at that moment. Would you say?
Definitely. I mean, there are plenty of guys who, I don't know if this is necessarily where you were going with what you were saying just now, but there are plenty of guys who make tons of money and they still end up divorced. They still end
Yeah,
up bumped their whole life
right. They're not leaders.
because they don't have that swag to them,
Yeah.
regardless of, making millions of dollars
So let me
throughout
ask
their.
you this. What do you think is the fastest way a guy can start to brainwash himself into having that swag to him? Because you get the guys on the phone like, oh, I'm just kind of scared. I don't think I can do it. That's all they all sound like. How do they like smack the bitch out of them?
Through working on themselves. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean through working on their wealth, through working on their health, and constantly working on their dating life and relationships.
Mhm.
The only way that you'll ever build confidence in yourself is if you have those things on point. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree.
I think that is the quickest way to actually, so many guys I talk to, they talk about how they lack confidence in themselves. And it's like, well, no shit. What do you have to be confident? What do you have to be confident about right now?
Yeah, and they're
Like,
not doing a whole lot of anything.
exactly. It's like, take a look at yourself. You go and you work your nine to five job, and then you get home and you hop on Xbox for the next 5 hours.
Yeah.
And then you
Now,
rinse repeat that every day and you expect to be a confident guy.
the thing that I want people to remember too is that you don't necessarily want, we're not hating the 9 to 5 job. Everybody needs a job. Like if you were just born, if you're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, even 23 years old, you need a job. Like that's how you work and make your living. So we're not hating on a job. Everybody needs a job. Those who don't have a job need to go out right now and go get a job. There's so many people even that want to be entrepreneurs, but they've never had a job and they don't know how to work at all. Like that's the cold hard fact is people need to know what it's like to work for somebody, so that way they know how to work in the first place. But with that said, the biggest thing that I see too is like there's going to be a level of uncomfortability in everything that you do. Like when you first started with me, how uncomfortable was that first 3 to 6 months?
Well, if you remember, I had to bring you into my first few calls.
Yeah.
I was sitting in your room taking them, and I clammed up multiple times
Yeah,
and just froze. I
that's
had to
part
bring you into it.
part of the journey. Yeah. And you knew I could help the man, but you didn't necessarily know if right then and there you could help the man yet. It took you almost having the conviction for yourself. So we've had a lot of people work for us over the past year or two, too. Let me ask you this. As you being in the head of our department for this, what's the difference that you see between a rep who succeeds and a rep who fails?
S- Social calibration to an extent,
Yeah.
as well as that, like we were just talking about conviction.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. When having conviction in yourself and being that guy that radiates that energy, that's not just going to help with women. That will help with every single aspect of your life at all times.
Right.
And a man who lacks conviction, he's gonna suck ass on the phone. That's a sales rep who's not gonna do well.
Yeah.
And if he can't snap out of that and bring that energy out of him,
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna fail 10 times out of 10.
Yeah. We've had guys who are promising too, but they don't have the full conviction that's needed, and that's just the way it is. So what growth have you experienced as a leader, and you've stepped into a new position and you've stepped into new areas in your journey?
Well, if you told me a year ago that I'd be doing a YouTube video with you and it would be this free flowing and I'd be able to speak like this without any cliff notes for myself or anything like that, I'd tell you were crazy.
Really?
If you took me back a year and a half, there's no way in hell I would think that, I could do that. Here's the thing, guys. I struggle with a lot of the same things, or I did. Hell, I still do. With a lot of the same things that um I speak
Everybody
to the
does.
guys on the phone about.
Yeah, everybody does to an extent. It's how you handle them.
Exactly. The thing is though, I no longer let those fears and that uncomfortability overtake me.
Hmm.
That's the difference. I don't, no matter how successful you are with women in your life, there's always going to be a degree of uncomfortability and nervousness. No matter where you're at in your dating life, no matter how good you are with women,
Hmm.
it'll still get your heart racing a little bit and still get your legs a little jiggly when you go and want to approach a woman or
Yeah.
something like that. It's just how it is, but it's a
Yeah. And
matter of
yeah,
how you deal with that emotion.
right. The conviction too comes from knowing how to sit in the fire.
Mm,
Like if you have a dime 10 out of 10 chick in front of you, anybody's heart's going to flutter a little bit. Like, ooh, it's game time. Right. Same thing as if you're a fighter getting into the ring, or a track star lining up and the gun's about to go off. Doesn't matter if you've ran that 400-meter dash 100 times in a row, like you're nervous. Okay. Because
mhm.
now you're on the spot to perform. Conviction comes when you know that you have performed at that time and you can still do it because you've been there, done that before. And that's how confidence is built. Confidence is not something that anybody's born with. So, what do you think it was? I mean, my last question that I had drafted was like, what do you think it is that prevents other men from succeeding? And why is it, do you think, that we've been able to escape the matrix every other guy is in, and we've been able to actually get out of that? Like, was it our upbringing? Was it because of dad? Was it because of what we saw growing up? Like, what do you believe prevents other guys from success, and how did we escape?
That's a good question.
I know.
And I don't know necessarily that I have a complete answer for that. Honestly, I think you would be better answering that question because I had you as a leader for me to kind of bring me out of that. Like, what caused you to escape? What did you see while we were growing up that made you so hungry and want something different?
Everybody's run. Well, when you say like, what, well, let's first off, let's define the KPI metric for success. Escape the matrix with what? With having success with women, or with having success in the world, or with just being hungry, or what are you defining? They're all different.
It was your question, and you were very vague about it. So where did you want that to go exactly?
Well, here's what I think it was. So first off, I had to change because a lot of my confidence was not built off of hunger. Mine was built off of fear. Okay. I was the guy in scarcity my whole life. Like even in, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, I was the kid who would bring two backpacks to school. Okay. One backpack was full of my books, and the other backpack was full of 18 different granola bars and 20 bottles of water, in case something ever happened. And there was like, I need to have a big pack to feel secure. Like I need to have a moat. So my whole life I've spent building a moat. So mine is built out of fear of anxiety, almost like I have to make sure I'm safe and protected. And because of that, it unlocked a different level of like hunger or ambition. Right. And I was able to help a lot of people along the way, and I still am. With women, it was almost like you have no choice. You had me, I had Jared. For those of you who have ever been on the MBT webinar, you know who Jared is, right? I had Jared, I had other people on YouTube like myself. Back in the day, I remember being 17 years old, and I would watch like Owen Cook, and I'm like, how does this guy just talk like that? You know, like Owen, like this little dude. I'm like, well, if he can do it, like, you know, you start to see other people, and it's like, if they can psychologically brainwash themselves to get out of it, maybe you can too. You know, and you see other people who have had a journey of success, and you see it's actually possible. Now, some guys aren't born with any issues at all. You know, part of it too is, I think, what we saw dad go through. You know, like our dad is very entrepreneurial driven, but it's in a different way. If you could give the guys a tidbit of advice to wrap this up and to land this ship, and also so that way they have an opportunity to comment on this video if they have any other questions for us, what tidbit or piece do you think you can give back to the world based off of your experiences so far?
I'd say if you're not in the gym, get your ass in the gym. Because for
Why?
those of you that don't know, I was very fat at one point.
I'll put
Like
a
I was
picture up.
very, huh?
I'll put a picture up. Big,
Yeah. I was very
and
overweight
big,
at one point.
yeah, big old.
I had big boobs. They're droopy. But anyway, I was very overweight at one point, and it was a killer. Not just because I looked bad and felt like shit, but because it showed up in my delivery with speaking with other people.
Yeah,
Like I lacked so much confidence in myself as a result of being fat. I didn't like how I looked in the mirror. And the thing is, you at the end of the day, you're the only one that can change anything.
yeah,
You can't expect anyone to be your goddamn daddy.
yeah.
It's not going to work.
I'll be your daddy.
So if you want any change at all, you're the one that's got to change it. If you're not happy with your income, you have to change it. You're the only one that can do that work. If you're not happy with your body, you got to change it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not happy with your dating life, you have to change it. And you almost have to unplug yourself and be hungry to change in order for it to happen.
Yeah,
You can't go through life just drifting, or you're gonna end up unhappy your whole life.
yeah. The biggest thing I can tell people too is like, you have to acquire skills. Like, if you have never worked for anybody and you want to be some badass multimillionaire entrepreneurial beast, and you've never even worked for anybody, guess what? If all you've done is went to school, you have no skills in the marketplace, you have no skills in the real workforce, you have no idea what actual employers are looking for. And not only that, you feel like you're entitled to this multi-million-dollar wealth when you've never worked for anything. Because of that, you need to understand that you have to pay your dues. You have to go and get a job. You have to learn the craft. You have to specialize in a craft. You have to get better at that craft. And then, only then, once you have enough saved, can you then start to say, hey, I am the expert and I can actually craft my expertise and I'm ready to take that on. But you have to actually start by humbling yourself of working for somebody. I always preach how to be a leader, and I teach that. And I am a leader, and I'm a leader in my company, and Cole's a leader within Headman. And like, but the thing is too, is like, people forget that like, I had to humble myself at making not very much money for a long time before I could finally unleash that next level of skill and being able to go off on my own.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like most of these guys, all they see is the current you.
Yeah, all this is the current me. But the thing is like, to be a good leader, you also have to be willing to be led. There's so many men who are not coachable. Dude, look at the husbands. Like, I'll just say it on this channel. Me and Cole, we work with a lot of married men in the relationship blueprint mastery. Between the husbands we work with in that and the MBT guys, who is the better client avatar and who do we actually like to work with?
MBT guys.
MBT, because the husbands are so many years beta, so refusing to be led, so stuck in their own ways, so not willing to learn from somebody with higher expertise, and then they're wondering why they have no results. I've been a student my whole life, and so have you now. What's your take on that? You have to be willing to be led in order to eventually become a leader.
Well, you absolutely do. Like, even to put it in more layman's terms that pretty
Yeah.
much anyone could understand, like,
Yeah, dumb it down a little bit for me.
Well, you want to be a lawyer, you got to go to college, and then you got to go to law school, and then you have to pass the bar exam. And that whole way, you had teachers and mentors that were teaching you those things.
Yeah.
It is the same with anything in life. You
Yeah.
know, you want to start a business, you got to learn the skills to start that business. So you need teachers and mentors to do that.
Right. 100%.
You need to acquire that skill set.
Exactly. So this is where we'll wrap up. Cole is starting a channel. It's going to be what do we title it? Do we title it Headman Sales, or do we title it Headman Wealth, or just Cole Zander? Mainly what Cole's going to be.
Zander-Headman.
Yeah, Cole is going to be showing you guys more of the internal traits and skill sets we've used through money and monetization and sales and leadership and stuff like that. And it's going to be much more income driven and income focused. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
So you guys can go and subscribe to his channel. I'll put that in the link below. Like I said, this is the last call for the Black Friday. I don't feel like editing all of the testimonials up in the top right or left hand corner like I always do. So you guys can click the sales page and you can actually watch the close. I've templated the last 35 to 40 minutes there so you can see all of the student successes. Here's the bottom line. This is what I tell every single guy. I did not enroll 2,000 plus students into the blueprint by accident. This program has not stood the test of time for years in the marketplace to get men's success by accident. This is not some short-term gimmick or short-term fix like how to Snapchat better, how to text better, how to DM better, how to banter better, how to make sure you Tinder better, how to biohack Bumble better, or how to actually hop on some sort of app and placebo yourself. Like, it's bullshit. If you want to actually be a stud with something as a tool and as a practice, as a tactic, as a process you can follow for the rest of your life as a man that will always stand the test of time from male to female nature, this is the best time to get this ad. And here's the fact. If the only thing that's held you back in the past from enrollment is finance, now is the time where you can actually take us up on this opportunity. We're going to extend the invitation to you, and you can now be part of that community with the best guides, the best mentors, the best processes, and guys like myself and my brother who are in that community to help you along the way. So hit the like button, comment and subscribe, and we will see you. Finish it for me.
I'll see you later, boys.
In the next one.